Laura, what a pro. Thank you, Laura. She's getting it done. Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren Zima. We are all here to speak to you about the intersection of entrepreneurship and digital communities. So we're going to dive right in. There's so much to get to. I also think when it comes to the name of our panel, there's a little bit of a chicken or the egg conversation, right? Like, what came first? And I find myself having a hard time sometimes even telling people what I do for a living at this point. And I think you guys can both understand that. But on that note, I want to let you introduce yourselves and explain what you do a little bit for people who might not know. I'll go first to knock it out. I am a journalist / host / producer. I was on the show Entertainment Tonight for about 8 years. I just left about a year ago. It was an amazing experience. I won 4 Emmys with them and worked on shepherding a 45-year-old television show into the digital age, which was an incredible learning experience. Thanks, Laura. God, you're the best. And so from there, I kind of had to figure out, like, how is this thing that I studied, journalism, in college, how do I do this when it was different by the time I graduated because online video happened, and then it was different 2 years into working because social media happened, and then streaming happened, and like this job that I learned in school was changing all the time. So that was kind of the biggest thing I dealt with in my career. And for me, I would say the traditional job came first, then the entrepreneur part. But let you guys go ahead. Ms. Jyoti Chand, would you like to start?
Yes. Hi, I am Jyoti Chand. I am an author, influencer, full-time content creator, and a mom of 3. I actually started the other way around. So even though I have my undergrad, bachelor's, and master's in creative writing, I've always wanted to write. I didn't really start the entrepreneur part till after I gained my audience. So I started by building an audience on Instagram and TikTok, and in many different ways, connecting with several South Asian women and moms of all over, and it was amazing. And so once I realized I had this audience, I was like, oh, okay, now let's do it. Let's write a book. So I wrote a book, got the lit agent, got the book deal. It's coming out this year. I'm really excited. And then on top of that, also working with brands and all of that's become a big part of my business. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Awesome.
She's like, I have a book deal. Great. Amazing.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yes. And then Maya Allen, please tell us about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maya Allen. I am a little bit more traditional in the sense that I've always been in the food space. I went to culinary school, and I started my business, The Need, which is an e-commerce cookie business, before blowing up isn't the right word, but before actually having an audience. And I gained my audience by going on reality TV on Bravo for a few seasons. So as private as I am and as much as I'm business focused, now everyone has access to my personal life and to every intricate detail of my private business. So I feel like my biggest struggle is figuring out how much of myself to give while still building a business.
By the way, we were going to get to that and you just laid it out because that's one of the biggest questions, right? I feel like, let's dive in. I feel like it's a struggle in that, I realized the other day, this question that I used to, it was the most hated question on red carpets for celebrities, right? I would have to ask them about their personal life. Like, I'm at Ben Affleck's new movie premiere and I had to be like, so you're getting a divorce. And he didn't love that, and I don't blame him because he's an actor there to talk about his movie. But I worked on a celebrity news show, and it was a question we had to ask. Now, your personal life in itself, this thing that people used to hate talking about, is a job. Like, it's often the way people start their jobs. Yep. So I feel like we all kind of had different takes on that. Do you want to start?
Well, do you remember back in the day when they were like, celebrities, they're just like us. And we'd see them in the magazine with doing some normal, mundane thing like walking their dog in a sweatshirt. I feel like now, and it made them a little bit more relatable.
Thankfully, Ben Affleck still spills his Dunkin' Donuts everywhere, which does make him seem just like us.
Yeah, so I feel like there was this relatability to celebrities when we saw things like that. But now as influencers, we're on here all the time, and it does truly feel like you have a friend on the screen because you do know so much about their personal life, and you are invited into their homes, and you are invited into their family events, and it makes you more relatable, and it makes you more like us, like, you know? And so I think that there's a beauty to it because it can help you grow your business being so relatable and open and showing like the background of it a little bit. Because sometimes, at least for me, when I see people who don't share as much, have like a book come out or a movie come out, it just seems like it happened overnight, right? Like there's just like, oh wow, they did that. But no one sees like the work that went into it, the 5 years that it took to get it published or the 10 years it took to get the movie sold, right? And sharing that part of it, it just feels so organic and authentic, and I think that helps grow you and your business and your account and your audience.
Well, you literally are that success story because you started, right, by sharing your personal life.
Right.
And then the entrepreneur part came later of now you have a book deal.
Yeah.
So what do you think was so key about getting from there to there?
Truly authenticity.
Yeah.
Do not change who you are. Do not try to be anybody else because you yourself are the brand. You're the individual. Like you don't need to shape yourself to be like somebody else that's on TikTok because they're growing. No, you being you is what is going to bring your audience in. And not everybody is your audience. And accepting that not everybody's going to like you is a big part of it because you don't need everybody to like you. You need your people. And once you have your people, you're good. You gain their trust and you give them your loyalty and they give you theirs.
I feel like that's such an important takeaway because we all know that feeling of you can read 10 compliments online and they don't really sink in, and you could read one criticism and it feels like it just punches you to the gut. I read that is actually our survival instinct kicking in. It's just in the digital age, which made me feel better. But I love that because that puts this empowering spin on it and makes it feel achievable. Do you feel like it's hard to maintain your authenticity, or does it ever feel overwhelming now because everybody is online? How do you find that niche still and still feel like this is me?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely becoming more and more content creators, even brown women content creators in this space, and I'm blessed to know that like we are actually a very collaborative bunch, and I have found many people that will speak my name in Room of Opportunities, and I'll do the same for them. But I will tell you that keeping yourself grounded and keeping your authenticity is the most important thing. And for me, it's like when I create content, I create it for my 5 best friends. Like I don't create it for 165,000 people. I create it for my 5 best friends. And like, what's gonna make mom like totally call me and be like, what the heck did you just post? Or like, what's gonna make my husband go, oh my God, it's so funny. Like that's the content that people wanna see because then they feel like they're in your inner circle. Right?
That's such a good takeaway. And I used to tell people when I would train people to do interviews, I would say, ask the question as if you were asking your mom. Like, ask this person a question like as if you were asking your mom because it feels so relatable. So that's definitely the social media version of that. Maya, what about for you? Because I know a little bit about reality TV, and I don't know what your experience was, but it does tend to happen that producing and editing puts a version of you on the TV that you maybe don't feel like is your most authentic self.
Correct.
So how did that go for you, considering that was kind of your breakthrough moment?
Well, I think now I have to lean on using my own resources and using myself to show people who I really am because I have been edited and manipulated to seem a certain way. If you watch anything I've been on Bravo, I look like an insecure, sad girl who cries
Which
all
you're
the
not.
time. I don't see myself in that space, but that's what Bravo saw in me, I guess, or what little
Or
they
what
saw
they
in me.
needed.
That's what they needed.
That's what they needed.
But at the same
it's
time,
casting.
it is quite relatable to cry. Everyone has their bad moments. I'm very big on mental health, and I think that I'm being as outspoken as I am, and there's no filter to me. So people see when I'm happy and when I'm sad, and I think that allowed me to be a little bit more open on social media because it's like, well, damn, you've already seen the worst parts of me. Like, now let me show you the best parts.
Tough question. Looking back at where you are now, would you do reality again? Are you glad you would? Okay.
Yes.
How come?
It was one of those things. I'm pretty private naturally, but I thought about it when I got the call. If I was like on my deathbed tomorrow, would I regret not doing it? Who gets an opportunity like that? It's crazy, it's insane, it's unhinged, but I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Would you recommend it as a way to jump into being an influencer, entrepreneur, creator?
I think there are definitely more linear paths that you can take, but I did it for my business. So I had a goal in mind when I went on reality TV. I already had started my business that same year. So to me, it made sense. It was like, okay, I'll get paid to advertise my business and advertise myself. So now I myself am a brand, and I never had the confidence in looking at myself as a brand before then.
So you have not done reality TV.
I have not. I've been offered reality TV.
Would you?
No.
No? How come?
Because of exactly what she said. They frame you in a certain light, and they'll take you and mush you and make you what they want you to be. Mm-hmm. And truthfully, I just think that my family wouldn't be portrayed in the way that I wanted them to be portrayed. It wouldn't just be me. You know what I mean?
The family factor is major.
And I'm not going to do that to them. Yeah. Like, I'm as great as it would be for my audience. Like, if it was just me, maybe. But if it's like my husband, my kids, my parents, no, thank you.
So how do you navigate that? Because I think there's a lot of discussion right now. Like the little kids of today are, the first generation that's going to have grown up entirely on social media.
Right.
How do you navigate what you show of them, what you don't, and do you think about the discussions you'll have with them in the future when they're old enough to then have their own accounts?
Oh, yeah. That is a big topic in our house because they know mommy has followers, and they know that they get recognized in public, and they're 7, 5.5, and 10 months. So the 10-month-old, unfortunately, doesn't have a say at this point. But the 7-year-old and 5-year-old will tell me if they don't want to be recorded, or if they don't want me to post something, or if they're not comfortable with something, and I don't take that lightly.
But that also means you created a space for them to be able to say that.
Yes, I go, oh, you don't have to do that. Oh, do you want to do this brand campaign? Nutrigrain wants you to do XYZ. Are you interested? Oh, I love Nutrigrain. Yeah, I'll do it. And one will volunteer. So it's like I'm giving them choice, but that they also are full employees of my company, of my brand.
That's college tuition right
there. It is. They're making they're paying for their food on their table right now, so they're good.
So you two both do now have these thriving businesses. I'm going to make a statement and tell me if it's easy to answer or not and what your thoughts are. Being an entrepreneur is easier than ever thanks to digital communities.
I wouldn't say easier.
Okay.
I think the thing that's easier is getting reach that you may have not gotten. Like, you don't need a billboard on the side of the freeway anymore, and you don't need to spend money on that. But there's an easier way to get free reach, right? But that's all dependent on this thing called the algorithm, the thing that we all dislike. We all hate it because it ebbs and flows so much. So if you're out there and you're a creator or a business trying to grow your audience, the one piece of advice I would tell you is do not focus on numbers, because numbers ebb and flow. So if you're like, oh, I lost 20 followers, I lost 10,000 followers in a month one time. Like, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter.
And did you ever know why?
No.
Yeah.
The people who stay. The people who become loyal. You'll find your people, and I swear by that. And if your one post gets like 2 likes and your other post gets 35, like, it doesn't matter. Just keep posting, keep sharing what you want to get out there.
Maya, what do you think?
I think that easier, again, it feels like a tough word to use, but with markets being so oversaturated now, for example, you can buy a cookie anywhere, but people are buying...
But not a Maya Allen cookie.
That is true, too. I will back my cookies every day, but they're not buying the cookie, they're buying from me, and I think that is what has made it easier in a way. Like, I'm speaking directly to my consumers, and I'm telling them how I made the cookies, how it came up. It was all about this mission to, like, really put a smile on people's faces, and I'm able to do that in a very personal way, and they know, like, I handwrite notes to everybody that buys cookies. They get it from me. They're talking to me. I'm talking to them.
You're like showing them how the sausage is made, but it's how the cookie is made.
Correct.
I love that.
I'll send you that.
Yeah, and what about the fact, though, that you guys have a couple different brands each? Like, this is something I feel like I struggle with, because now I did journalism, and now I'm doing producing. Now so when you start to have a couple different things and you're trying to present all those online at the same time, how do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get that.
How do you, like, make that cohesive and not confusing?
Well, when you yourself are the brand, every person is complex. Like, nobody is just one thing, right? And I think the biggest lie that we're told as children is that, what are you going to be when you grow up? What are you going to be?
Hold on, let's soak that in for a minute. That's a big statement. The biggest lie we're told is, what are you going to be when you grow up?
That's that question that you're asked when you're a kid. What are you going to be when you grow up? Because it's telling us like we're only going to be one thing for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
And we're not. And we're not just going to be, you could be a doctor and then become an entrepreneur and become a writer and become a professor and then.
I think you're so right, but I think that's a newer concept.
It is a newer,
You know?
it maybe is a newer concept, but I wish I was taught that younger, because I did think, oh, if I'm going to get a creative writing degree, I'm going to be a writer. But I also want to be a comic. But I also want to be a director and producer.
I mean, that's similar to my upbringing. I went to prep school my entire life. My parents, I wanted to go to culinary school directly after high school. They said, we didn't spend this money on your education for you to cook, basically. And why is it that these creative jobs are almost looked at as lesser than?
I think we all share the same parents. Yeah.
And that's so amazing that goes cross culture.
Yeah.
Yes. My parents said, if you want to do acting, you're on your own right now. Good luck. And at 17, I was like, no, I'm not ready for that. But I also understand that they were trying to do what was best for me.
And that's also how they were taught.
Yes.
It's generational.
So you now have all these different, but you know, I think that's a great thing. Like, we're all living longer. We should all have a couple careers.
Yeah, and it doesn't, something that you want in your 20s is going to be completely different from what you want in your 30s and then your 40s, because you're changing, you're evolving, you're growing. The world is changing.
So do you find that you are that connective thread between like the you that writes books and the you who makes jokes about, you know, being a mom, and you're the you is the connective thread between your cookie business or the reality star version of you? Is that what your audience is always coming back to?
It comes back to your authentic self, your authentic, organic self. You're sharing each piece of yourself and allowing people to know that like you can be a multitude of things. You can be a mom, a wife, a daughter, a writer, an author, you know, a journalist, producer, writer, the whole thing. There's no limit.
Yeah, I was joking about this question earlier with Haley, saying it depends on who's asking me. I'm like, if I'm on a dating app, maybe I'll say like I'm a podcaster or like I'm a reality TV star. But if I'm talking to you all, I lead with the cookie business, and it's kind of like.
Why do you lead with podcaster on a dating app?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like maybe you should hear just how crazy I am before we go on a date.
You're like I'm going
warning.
full force.
Yeah.
I did reality TV. I'm a podcaster. I'm trying to do my own business. I have 6 jobs, and I have issues with my parents.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to date me? I love that. Just open the doors right away.
Yeah, they got to know what they're getting themselves into.
Are you single?
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Wow. We're here at South by Southwest, and there's a lot of parties. What about drawing that line, though? Because I so agree with you, and again, find it empowering to be like, you are the glue holding it together. Because that's what entrepreneurship is all about. Like, as much as, you know, the way we do it changes, that it is the entrepreneur, like, building that business. But now the business is 24/7. Like, you could be working at any moment on your phone. You could be like, you know, you're filming with your family, but that's also part of your job. Do you say, like, do you do screen time limitations? How do you draw a line, if at all? Or is this a problem?
I have not drawn the line yet, and it's chaotic. It's not good. I'm trying to.
We filmed a reel before we came out here. Like, we filmed one real quick right before we came out here. And I was like, we have the panel in a minute.
Like, we're actively content creating. I am being told 24/7 to post online, and
Side eye towards our manager.
I know.
Also, like, our manager sends out emails at like 9 p.m.
She has no respect for our time off, is what I'll say.
So is that the biggest struggle?
No.
No, not your manager. But is that the biggest struggle? Is how do you?
Yeah, it's hard
Draw
to
a line.
turn off when your life is the business.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, this is a great content opportunity. But it's also like, what's the fine line between like, okay, let me just enjoy feeding the cute baby instead of getting a picture of the cute baby. And I started doing this thing where I put my phone away at 8 p.m. So it's like at 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And I don't touch it till 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm up by 5. So I try really hard to, unless there's like a special meeting or something due, you know, I do 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. and I don't look at my screen because I'm like trying to take myself off, and I try not to doom scroll now. You know what I'm talking about? Where you just like get on there, you just went on there to one thing, and then all of a sudden you're like 30 minutes later, like, where was I?
For me, it's 2 hours, but yes.
Yeah, so trying to just be really intentional with my device has been super helpful with my anxiety and like any of that stuff. So it's really good.
I don't have that balance yet. I struggle with it all the time. I'm also nosy. Like, I want to know what everyone else is doing online, and I find myself spending far too much time on the Instagram app when I should be doing other things. It's to the point where I'm watching TV and I'm doom scrolling, and I don't even know what I'm watching, and it's addictive and it's problematic. So I would love to start adopting. 12 hours feels extreme for me. I don't think that I can dedicate myself to that just yet, but a few hours I think is something that's mindful and makes sense.
Or having like a screen time cap or like a little alarm that goes off. If you're like, okay, I'm gonna grab my phone, let me put an alarm for 15 minutes and like I'll get off my phone.
Yeah, I have been sleeping with it in a different room, and I find
That's
that
awesome.
is making all the difference because naturally I wake up and it's the first thing I open. There's really nothing I need to be seeing at 7 in the morning on Instagram, and having left it in a different room is it makes my mornings feel like they're mine now.
And
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, and also like teaching yourself that you don't always have to be available. Because I always feel like I'm a people pleaser or a healing, like a recovering people pleaser. And, you know,
A healing people, please. That's a good, no.
that's better.
That's the title of your next book.
Yeah. And so I'm writing it down. Haley, write that down. And so I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, no, I forgot.
You're a people pleaser, so you're trying to.
Oh, like I get a DM or I get a bunch of DMs. I feel bad. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want them to wait an hour for my response. Let me respond right now. I have to teach myself, like, it's okay. It's okay to wait till 2 p.m. to respond to your DMs. I respond to every single DM that I get because my community is the most important part of my business and they come first.
I started doing, I will film in the moment, but then put it together and post it later, because I find that when I post it, then I'm like, okay, like, did it go up, and respond to the first few comments, and it is more literal work. So I film so I have it and then post it another time. But let's talk about what you just said, which is the response, because we're talking about building a digital community. I would love to hear, now that you guys have built it, first let's do takeaways. Like, if you were advising someone, like they have a business right now, here's a couple things to really build that audience that looking back you feel like you did well and worked well and are still working now, even if it's something like responding to every DM. And then we'll maybe get into things you wish you hadn't done, or cons or you wouldn't have done. But what would be just a couple tips? You've got a clothing store, you're building you want to build a digital community right now.
Okay, I guess one of the first tips as a bit from the influencer side as a business is when you approach an influencer, try to, like, say for example you're doing a gifting campaign and you're like, hey, I have $100 store credit and I was, wanted to offer that to you for in exchange for a post. Always give that influencer creative freedom, is my opinion on that, because the last thing you want to do, that person knows what they're doing and they know their audience, and that's why you chose them. Let them create, and then without giving them too many like guidelines. Like, don't pick the song for them. Don't make us do the Macarena. I had to say it. I had to do the Macarena one time for a campaign.
My least favorite brand campaign that I've worked on is one that I felt tried to stifle who I am.
Right.
And it was so robotic, and it's like, I'm just here to sell you this product, as if, I was like, I don't even believe what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Nobody wins in that situation, and I've had those because your authenticity is gone. Your audience isn't going to believe it, and yeah. So
I'm not going to do the Macarena in the shower. Like, that's not normal. So I did it though. I'm looking right at Haley. We couldn't find it. Okay, but that's what I'm saying. As a brand, like, trust the people that you're working with, because you chose them for a reason. You liked their content for a reason. Instead of saying, hey, I want you to do X, Y, Z, be like, hey, these 3 videos you did prior, I really like those. I like the style of those videos. And that can give us inspiration. Yeah.
Love that.
I also think it's important for, like, I think as an influencer, I don't like to back anything that I don't use myself. And I think
100%.
what you're speaking to in terms of authenticity, that really does show, and people believe you when you believe you. So there are opportunities to say no, and I think saying no more frequently actually is beneficial.
It used to be a little different. Like, remember a couple years ago when everybody did like those, what were those boxes?
Oh, FabFitFun.
Yes. And everyone was doing
I bought
them.
it.
Yep. And yep. Well,
They
we're
were
past
really
those
cool, though.
times.
They were really cool. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I did the Macarena inside a FabFitFun box once. I'm just kidding. So what about, like, just from you guys, though, if it's something like when you were building your own audience, was, or is it still, responding to every DM, responding in the comments, or like maybe even the cadence of when and how you post? What's kind of your secret sauce there?
So mine goes back to, I'm more of a in real time sharer. And so like I wake up in the morning and I get on my camera like at 8 a.m. The kids are going to school. I'm like, hey, good morning. Oh my God, I've got the kids out. You know, and I share a little bit about my day as if I'm talking directly to one person, right? And I'm just talking to my crew. And so I feel like making yourself, I hate that I keep saying the same word though, authentic.
Genuine.
Genuine authenticity. I'm just kidding. That's really important. Then yes, I respond to every DM for that reason. Is because I want people to feel seen and heard. I know that when I message an influencer and they leave me on red, I feel like shit. I'm like, oh, they didn't want to read my long paragraph. Like, why not? Like, I had a really good thing to say. And it never made me feel good when I wasn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like they're my friend and they're not responding to me. And how do you feel when you get left on red? You're ghosted, right? So I never want anyone to feel that way. And that's just me. And I like have to like be like, if someone tells me like a heartfelt story, I have a heartfelt response. If someone tells me like, you know, you look great today, I'd be like, thank you. You know, even if it's just something so simple, I just want them to know that I see you, I hear you, I'm here for you. Like, thanks for being here.
I am the polar opposite to that. I ghost my friends and I ghost my followers. I'm horrible.
You're a reality
And that's
show
the
celebrity.
title of Maya's next book.
Ghosting by Maya Allen. Because I honestly, I'll read all the messages. I check my DMs all the time. I read them. I usually connect with whatever people are saying, whether it's positive or negative. But I don't ever respond, and I feel like I'm learning something today. I should have those conversations. Whenever I meet people in person that are followers that pay attention, especially to like the podcast, which is when you can get a little bit more information on my personal life, I'm like, wow, people are actually paying attention, and I need to be having these conversations more.
But I think that the reason that sometimes we think we're not supposed to respond is because there's like this celebrity like exclusivity to who's in my
like
circle.
How much of myself do I want to give?
Yeah, how
like,
much
do
do you
I want
give?
to be available 24/7 for people to be able to DM me?
Right.
I was watching a content creator that I follow, and she was posting that people are in her DMs. She's on vacation, and people are like, "Why aren't you responding to hang out with me?" And so it's like
That's
it's very
different.
hard to find the right line to balance in terms of how much of yourself you want to give to your audience.
I respond really regularly in comments. I don't go to the DMs. I had a YouTube series that was, it was CBS's #1 digital show, and I completely stand by that the reason it was #1 was because when it started, I had a system where, like, first I would Instagram story the behind the scenes of filming it. I'd be like, we're filming it now, we're filming today's episode. Then I would Instagram story from the editing process. And I'd be like, okay, we're putting it together. I would take people through all that. Then I would post on my Instagram, on my feed, okay, it's live. Then I would go on YouTube for the live premiere, and this was critical. I would be in the live chat talking to people, like, which was a little weird because we were talking about the video that I was in, but like I would just be like, what do you guys think? Was I right about this? Was I wrong? And we would really get that discussion going. And that was such a bang for my buck to me because A, I really enjoyed it. I so love talking to people, and it was genuinely like, sometimes social media can be a little soul sucking, but it was genuinely so fun. But B, for like this 20 minutes of the live premiere, I connected with people so strongly. So I think the live component of connecting with people is like a really great way, going live on Instagram now, to like, in a short amount of time where it's not taking up your whole day, build that audience. Have you guys used live much?
I did during pandemic.
Oh, when everybody was on live every day.
I've
I'm
never
not a
done it
live
myself.
person.
I'm also very introverted. Like I won't speak to people at a party. So it's like I don't necessarily want to speak to them on
Maya
my phone
was the
either.
perfect person for reality television. The casting of the century. She's
Really
like,
reframing
I'm
yourself
private.
right
I
now,
don't like to
Maya.
share about myself. What were you like in the confessions?
It required tequila lubricating
Okay.
to get the words out, you know?
And that's chapter 8 of her memoir. It required tequila. Okay. So we've moved, yes, you're right. Back in the pandemic, and Instagram Live was like all we were hanging on to as a people. Are there things that you won't share? I mean, I think for you, Maya, yes, because you're talking about privacy.
No, honestly,
But-
that's the thing. Like everyone knows everything about my dating life. Like I got cheated on television. I had I started TV right after I broke up with my fiance of 5 years. Everyone knows everything. So at this rate, I'm leaning into it as much as possible. But I think if there's someone that I start seeing that I actually really care about, I will keep that close. That's not happening right now, so I'll talk about them any day.
Okay.
I won't share personal marital arguments. I won't share anything that puts my kids in a bad light, meltdowns, things like that, live. And, because they have friends at school. Yeah. They don't need to be seen having a meltdown. I won't share too much personal information that's someone else's story. Meaning, like, if my brother's going through something or if my mom's going through something, like, that's not my story to share, so I don't share that. But other than that, like, me, myself, like, me as a whole, like, all of me. And I'll tell you how my husband and I resolve our arguments and our disagreements, but I'm not going to tell you what it's about. Like.
Okay, I was going to ask, because that's interesting because you're such a comedian on your socials, and I feel like there's a lot of comedy to be had in a marital argument.
Oh, yeah, we talk about marriage all the time, and me and him make videos together, but I'm saying, like, when we have, like, a real conversation or something's up, like, I'm not going to blast him or ever speak on what we discuss, right? Because that's a very personal space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll echo that. Even when recording the show, I didn't give them access to my family, and they wanted it. They wanted the FaceTimes with Dad and the lunches with my sister, and I was like, that's not the life that they chose, and it's not their responsibility to jump into this crazy world with me.
So you both had this presence online. You first from building up your "Hi, I'm me" through social media, and then you through the reality TV boost a little bit. And then you start introducing these brands, your books that you're writing, your baking business, The Need. Did you find that there was like a little pullback from the audience? How did you push through that, or did they genuinely embrace it? And if they did, like, how did you make sure that that happened? Because you've built this one thing, but now you have to introduce this other thing, even though it is still part of you.
I think that the people who come and go, like, for example, like, I had a video go viral. It hit like 50 million views, and I gained like this huge audience from it, right? And some people who came from that video stayed because they liked what I was sharing afterwards. Like, they're like, oh, I like your family, and I like that you're writing, and I'm excited about this book. But then there's other people who just quietly just like left because they're like, no, I thought she was just funny,
Yeah.
Some people want a very basic niched person that isn't real, right? Some people want to see that. And then there's a whole bunch of people who want to see the whole complex whole person. And so, I mean, the audience is going to change as you change. Yeah, and then like I said, the loyal people, the day ones, the ones sitting in the front row, they're going to stay.
What about you, Maya?
I feel like, I don't worry about that. I just don't, it's not something I think about. I am who I am, and I've always been that way. Like, you literally get what you get, and you don't get or you can get upset, but get upset somewhere else, basically, because I'm going to stay consistent with who I am and what I do. I don't do anything for anyone but myself.
Mic drop.
I know.
Chapter
and the
10.
panel ended halfway through, and the only takeaway was that. No, I go back to, again, your genuine authenticity. Like, I was a little surprised. One of the biggest things I now get responses for on my social media is grief. I was like this celebrity news correspondent, and then I did comedic videos as well, and then I started sharing about how I lost my dad. And I was so surprised, but it turned into one of the most meaningful things for me about my account, because people at that time especially felt like there was no space to talk about that. And I just think you're so right that when you like lean into all the parts of you as a person, it can feel scary. It can feel like, are people going to go away? This isn't what they came for. But it builds a deeper, if maybe smaller, but deeper audience. And I think the beauty there is then that deeper audience will recommend you to other people who they know will connect with your brand. But yeah, it was, I don't know, it's surprising to me. You almost feel like, whoa, people care. Like, do you have that feeling ever of, oh my gosh, I can't believe this?
Yeah, all the time. It's crazy what people hold on to or connect with. And I think that's why I do love at least being in some sort of a public eye, because it's like, I am so regular. I am just like you watching me on the screen. And if people can connect with that and realize that, and reality TV is somewhat smoke and mirrors, but at the same time, there's a human behind it. Like, there's a human behind me and behind the screen and behind my Instagram, and I'm real. And that's really all that counts.
And Jyoti, I know you've shared your sobriety story, and you've talked about, like I saw you posted the other day, and you said, hey, if this post triggers you, like maybe ask yourself why and think about it. So what's that like for you to share? Because that post made me think, okay, she probably gets like mixed responses.
Oh my God, let me
Yeah.
tell you. Okay, let's dive in. Sharing my sobriety was one of the most probably brave things that I did on the internet, because it's the one thing that it's going to be seen as either you weren't drunk enough or an alcoholic enough to be sober, or are you judging us because we drink, or there's just so much backlash that could happen. But I will tell you that it's been an amazing journey. Yes, people are triggered, and that's okay, because it's okay to be triggered, because you're going to question yourself. You're going to question, do I drink too much, or do I need alcohol?
It creates a dialogue.
We'll talk after, Maya. We got a lot to talk about. What's my intention of drinking? Am I drinking because I had a hard day? I want people to ask themselves those questions, because that's what I needed to ask myself back then. And the people who triggered me helped me, because I wasn't your run-of-the-mill alcoholic that you hear about in media. I wasn't on the floor with a paper bag and homeless, or I'm a mom who used alcohol to cope with life. And I never did well with alcohol. In college, I would get blackout drunk. I'd be the girl that carried out the club. You know what I mean? And, and even though I wasn't drinking a lot, it wasn't benefiting me. Why was I drinking? So I had to start asking myself those questions. So I posed those questions because it's going to help one person. I don't care if 10,000 people see the post and then they hate it. As long as that 10,001 person is like, oh my God, today's the day that I asked myself that question. And that's it. And people have come into my DMs and they have told me, I created a community called the Sober Desi. I am South Asian, and in South Asian culture, we don't talk about addiction. We don't talk about mental health. That's been the kind of the pattern. And we're trying to change that, because every family does deal with this stuff. And you all can think of one person right now that you love so much that is dealing with the mental health concern. And that means that we're all able to connect on that, and that we should talk about it. And it should be a little more normalized to be like, I'm on Zoloft 100 milligrams.
150.
Okay. And I have anxiety and panic disorder and depression, and I'm battling with that. And Maya and I last night, hold on, Maya, get your sleeve up. Maya and I last night got matching semicolon tattoos, because the semicolon is a symbol of someone who's battled depression, addiction, anxiety, and has overcome it. And it's a small reminder why you kept going.
Yep.
And that to me is a lot of sobriety, is just this opening that conversation. It's scary. It is scary, because people do I've lost friends going sober because I think I make them question themselves. But I don't do it in a judging way. I don't say oh my God, you're a terrible person because you drink because you were sad. It's just more when you're ready, come back.
And I don't know if you feel this way, but I found that sharing the grief thing, for example, it just really made me feel good about sometimes when it's almost like this karmic balance of, okay, I'm sharing this thing that maybe isn't gonna necessarily move the needle or whatever, but I'm doing it because it's making me feel really good about all these other parts of social media that sometimes maybe don't. Do you know what I'm saying?
It feels so good.
Yeah.
It's like giving back. Mm-hmm. Putting yourself in a vulnerable situation and pretty much throwing yourself under the bus so everyone can know everything about your struggles and your trauma. If it helps one person, great,
So you mentioned, it can start some discourse, something like this. When you get those people questioning it or the negative comments or whatever, how do you both handle it?
Well, I told you I don't respond to my DMs.
Okay.
So
Oh my God, I get into full conversations with people.
Do
But I'm
you?
trying not to do that. I'm trying not to let it I don't do it as much anymore. But when people send hate stuff, I try to respond really kindly. And people will always say, you're too nice. And I'm like, that person that sent me that message is struggling. right now. Nobody sends a message like that to a stranger if they're not struggling themselves.
It's always a reflection of them.
Yes, and it's not about me, it's about them, and they're human, and they're a human being. And so I treat them like a human being, just like like I would treat anybody else. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
So much love to you. Like, that's it. So much love to you. I hope shit gets better.
That's exactly what I do, and it makes me feel so much better.
That's right.
You literally are going high. You have to go high.
Yes.
Pull Michelle Obama.
I wish she'd run for president. Anyway, we won't get political.
I was like, please don't do that.
I also find that, like, when people will make those comments, again, like, yeah, responding kindly, it just makes me feel better. And I heard this great thing from Kate Blanchett about that movie Tar she did this past year. She just said that she's accepted that all art, period, is going to come with criticism. Like, and I kind of realized, you know what? Yeah, that's nothing new. And it's sort of even the part of creating something is having a conversation about it. I think sometimes people are a little overly mean in their criticism on the internet.
Well,
but
yeah, when they're overly mean, I screenshot it and put it in my stories.
I haven't done that yet, but I want to call people out.
No, I do. If they talk about my kids, first of all, don't talk about my kids. If you bring my family into it, you're gonna get a screenshot. That's different. That's personal. But yeah, there's the levels. There's levels. I'm kind 99% of the time. Let's put that there.
So was there ever a time when
I don't believe you.
She goes, I don't believe you. Again, you have now, you've shared your life as a wife, as a mom. You've shared this sober journey. You've shared your writing journey. You have been on reality TV. You have started your cookie business, The Need. You share your personal life. Was there ever a time as you were building and growing this, who you are as a person, as an entrepreneur in this digital space, where you did a pivot, where you thought, okay, this part isn't working. Let's readjust here. Let's change the way I'm doing this. Or you tried something and didn't work and just totally scrapped it as part of what you were building.
I'm going to say yes. I absolutely have pivoted before. I always try different types of content.
Can you share it?
Yeah, so in the early part, I was trying to be more like other people. In the early parts, I was like, okay, this is how I have to share fashion. This is how I have to share beauty.
We've all also started adopting that voice, I've realized. Because we watch content online all the time. And then I find myself, like, sometimes if I'm doing an ad, I literally have to stop myself because I realize I'm talking in, like, the same way other people are doing the ad. I'm like, wait, who am I? Go back to you. Flip back into gear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sometimes you have to, like, catch yourself and pivot, right? So when it was actually pandemic that helped me pivot because I was doing, like, these cute little, like, photos outside my house. I don't even take cute photos, you guys. I'm wearing sweatpants and my hair in a bun most of the time.
Signs.
Right? This is me, okay? And so
we told her she has to stop doing that.
Yeah,
she has to stop doing that.
I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna
stop.
No,
be you.
And so, stop trying to make fetch happen. Okay.
So you were taking cute photos outside your house. And the
pandemic came and I realized, like, I don't even want to put on cute clothes. Why would I post me in cute pictures and put it on my LTK and do all of that when I'm not even getting ready? So I just shared how it was really going. And then I realized that resonated way more because it was authentic. Count how many times I said that word, like, when we watch this over.
We'll use it as a drinking game.
Oh, God.
What am I drinking? Water?
Exactly.
That was ironic.
It's something I still struggle with, figuring out what my voice is online. I think that I do my best vulnerable self on the podcast, but I'm having a co-host who's one of my best friends, so it's really like, it is that the same way you're saying you want to talk to your one person. That's my time to be me. Unfiltered, I'm not thinking about it, I'm just talking with a friend, and I feel like that's where people really get to know me, and I have to try to, like you said, stop myself from being so addy and so Instagram, like, ready all the time. I don't like doing makeup. I wake up, I look crusty. Like, I need to start showing more of that. I wear a bonnet to bed. I look crazy at night.
I want to see that. Like, I want to see that. I want to see that, Maya.
And if I ever post in the bonnet, people are like, finally, someone with a bonnet. Like, this is what real life is.
I think it's the modern version of, like, going to a business meeting. Like, you might have yourself at home, But then when you go to work, you like put on your work blazer and that's you. But you have to find that balance online. Like I was telling my friend the other day, she owns a store here, and she posts this great content of like the completed outfits. But I was like, I want to see the video of you styling someone though, you know, like post that video of you kind of showing what didn't work or what did and how you do that whole process.
How
Because
there's like 100 pieces of clothing on your floor before you get the, that part, right? Yeah, I agree.
And as you were saying, it's that put it, the cookie recipe, and it's that how you get your day going, and that is where people find the connection. I think you made such a good point that people really like get behind you with the reward when they see the hard work,
when they
that
see
you
the
put in.
process.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's something I shared, like even just the last 3 days. This is the first time I have left my 3 kids for 4 days straight. I don't have a nanny. I am a working from home mom. Like I am that's my first thing. I'm a mom, and that I love it. And I got on the plane and I shared that I was a little bit like, oh man, I'm leaving them, but it's okay, I'm excited. Like the mixed feelings. It wasn't guilt. It was true like love and missing. I don't feel guilty. They're great. They're with their dad. And then I broke out in hives on the plane all over my face. And I was like, well, okay, well, and I like landed and I was like, guys, I have hives all over my face. It's a perfect 4 days for this. I'm going to be on camera a lot. And I've been sharing my hives journey alongside sharing
My hives journey,
my hivey face every day on my stories. I've been sharing what I'm doing every day with my hives on my face, and then I'm also sharing like what my kids are doing and how I'm missing them, and I'm showing like there's layers. It looks really cool if I just shared South by Southwest, right? It would look really cool. I'd be like, yeah, I just got off the plane. I'm staying at this bomb place, like meeting cool celebrities and partying. But instead, I'm just like, dude, I'm at a bar. I got hives on my face. Like, I want people to realize like. There's so much complexity to it, right? It's not just like, page 6 of, what is that magazine? Do people read magazines?
Page 6.
in the New York Post, yeah. Speaking of the digital age, I
Whatever.
think it's the modern day version of like, I don't know if anybody used to love behind the scenes content from movies, but
my
like
God.
it would come out on the DVD back in the day.
I used
The
to love,
bloopers.
like,
Yes.
making the video.
Yeah.
Like, remember on MTV where you actually got to see the singer go and rehearse and do, like, that to me is where you connect with people.
That's where the heart of the
Yeah.
story is. The
Yeah.
heart of the story is not me sitting on stage talking to you guys. The heart of the story was getting here. And so I think that's...
That is the mic drop. Okay, on that note, actually, we do have a little bit of time for questions. There's a mic in the middle if anybody has questions. I'll just ask you guys another one in case there's not any. But again, if you have a question, please
Don't be
feel free to
shy.
add there. I did want to ask you guys what you see as your future now. I mean, you've both accomplished so much in the last couple of years and your lives have changed quite a lot. So this is a really big question, but I find myself asking people this, like when my husband and I do a podcast together and when they're on, is like, are we all going to be like creators in our 80s? Now we see the really cute like retirement home on TikTok, but will that be everyone? I don't know. So what is your future? Where do you want to take the brand from here? And how
Yeah.
long do you see yourself sharing on this level?
So I don't know if I'm somebody who always wants... I don't know if I'm going to want to be on camera forever. That's one thing. I'm a very, like... I'm extroverted, but I'm introverted, like an introverted extrovert. But I also just like have so many different passions. I always called myself like Jyoti of all trades. I actually have a Gmail account that's Jyoti of all trades
should
at
trademark that.
gmail.com.
Yeah.
And I just like doing so many different things and jumping into different things. I had I sewed blankets for like a bit.
Why are you telling me?
No, I'm just telling you. I like had a business where I sewed blankets for a bit. I feel like you said you keep learning new things
She's
about
like,
me.
Maya, there's a partnership in this. A blanket and a cookie. We'll send it to everyone.
Like, I was a bartender. I did all kinds of random stuff. Like I worked at a Taekwondo studio. I worked at a Pilates yoga studio. Like,
so you see yourself like you go with the
I'm
flow.
just like going with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna adopt whatever I want to adopt. Who knows? I might eventually become like a physician. Like you never know.
But by the way, I think that's well.
My parents might finally get proud of me like when they're like on their deathbed.
My mom told me she was proud of me when I won my 3rd Emmy. That was a moment. I said,
The
"Finally."
3rd? It wasn't the 1st?
No, it was the
No,
3rd.
no.
It wasn't even the 2nd, Maya.
We do have the same parents.
Yes, we do. We should all talk about this later. But yeah, I think like, well, that kind of goes back to, again, like, but knowing yourself and like kind of having that self-confidence and self-comfort to know this is my process. I go with the flow. I embrace what's
Yeah.
next. And I do think sometimes that digital presence when you're building a brand, like you were saying earlier, trying to be like other people, I find myself, it's that like, oh, look, they're so busy and they're doing that thing, and then you feel that guilt and shame.
But I also want to add, like, there's no timeline. This timeline that people tell us, oh, like 30 under 30 or 35 under 35, 40 under 40. There's no timeline. I thought when I was 25, like, I missed the mark. Like, I was like, oh, man, I didn't write the book yet. I guess I'm done. I'll just have babies. Like, you know, I'm done. I'm just going to be a housewife. Like, I'm good. And that'd be great. Honestly, I kind of wish I did that sometimes.
No, you don't.
I think you kind of did do that.
I
for a
did,
bit,
but
though.
like, you know.
Okay.
I wish I embraced it a little bit more instead of being so ambitious. But yeah, there's no timeline. Like, I feel like you could start a company when you're 65 and have a successful business. Like, you don't have to do it right now. You can start taking little steps towards it, but it doesn't have to happen tomorrow, right?
But the book is coming out soon.
I wrote it in 2021, you guys.
Amazing.
It's coming out now. Like,
Amazing.
it takes forever.
Okay. I want to see a post, by the way, truly of like how you.
I'm
got
going
a
to
book
post
deal.
the timeline of the book, and then
Yes.
eventually I want the book to be optioned and turned into a show or a movie. That's obviously the ultimate goal, and then I'm gonna become Mindy Kaling's best friend.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're gonna like create shit together. So, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Maya, what about what's next for you?
I don't know. So I'm really just riding the wave. I've been given so many great opportunities recently. I feel like this is my year. I actually have been saying that for the past 5 years, but this time I actually believe myself. But I always wanted to have a cooking show, and growing up watching Food Network, I was like, I'm not like these people. I'm dry. I'm like humorous. I am kind of an asshole. So I don't fit on that mold, but now I feel like there's an opportunity for me to be able to connect with audiences and be myself and teach people how to cook. So that is something I would love to do. Hopefully a cookbook one day as well.
And my last question for both of you, it sort of feels like every couple years we get like a new platform that really hits, like TikTok, before that Snapchat, before that Instagram. Do you think that it's important for your brand? Like, are you on all those platforms, and will you embrace them as they come? How do you adapt with the new trends or new platforms?
It's so important to move with the times, you guys. Do not be like that person who's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, literally,
Me.
Yeah, my manager's like, oh, LinkedIn is now, there's LinkedIn influencers.
I'm not ready for social LinkedIn.
Okay,
So
and
weird.
so
My manager didn't
LinkedIn
tell
is
me
social
that.
now. It's just happening on LinkedIn, guys.
No.
And
I heard
First
LinkedIn
thing I
is the new
did,
dating app.
I went and signed up for LinkedIn.
Okay.
Like, I was like, okay, let's
All
go.
right.
We're on LinkedIn now. All right, auto post to LinkedIn.
Maybe people will get better headshots
They
now.
casted me for Summer House through LinkedIn.
That's what I'm saying. I get partnerships through LinkedIn. Like, it. Just because you're used to one platform, you love Instagram, that's where you started, that's your home, your main audience is there, doesn't mean you can't post on TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's cross-posting. There's apps that do it for you. Just do that. Pay the $9.99 a month. Invest in yourself. Like, I don't know the name of the app. I don't use it myself because I make my assistant do it without the app.
I was going to ask you for the name of the app, so we'll find that out later.
I do. Okay, well, let me get specific on that, though, for a minute, since you're an advocate of it. Do you feel like you need to present a little bit of a different version of yourself on each of those platforms, or is it similar? Is the important thing similar content across?
Oh, that's a tough one because yes and no. Okay, so I noticed that a lot of influencers will be like really like curated on Instagram and then really like crazy on TikTok. I feel like I do the same across platforms. I might post a little more like that video we took today. We made this video. It's hilarious. You guys can watch it in about like 45 minutes when I post it. And I would
post in real time.
yeah, and I feel like that's like something that could go on Instagram because of how funny it is, right? But if it didn't turn out as good, I'd put it on TikTok. Because I feel like you could put anything on TikTok.
I don't use TikTok.
I mean, we need to talk about that too. Maya, we have a whole thing today.
Okay.
We're doing lunch.
We brought Maya on this panel so that she would learn from this panel. I'm just kidding.
Apparently, yes.
All right, truly very last question. If you each were just going to give like one tip to somebody as they're starting this journey, even if it's just about how to kind of stay sane through it all, a quality that you need to have as you try to build a brand for yourself digitally.
Trust
what is
yourself, back yourself. You are the magic, you're the glue. It's already within.
Just start. Stop asking how to start. Just start. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be perfect. I wish I could show you my first video I put up. It's terrible. Terrible lighting, terrible editing, sound, everything. but just start. Like, who cares? It's not going to, the people will come. You'll learn as you go. Trust me, it gets better. You'll learn. You'll be like, oh, I edited that terribly. Let me try to learn how to edit.
Day ones will notice your evolution as well.
They do. They
They'll
really do.
acknowledge it, yeah.
Your social glow up.
Yes.
That's what we're going to call it. That's another book. Write that down. Haley.
Luckily, this whole thing's been recorded. Thank you both so much. Can we give these ladies a round of applause? Thank you. Again, I'm Lauren Zima.
Jyoti Chand. You can find me at Mama Jotes on all platforms and all platforms.
Including
And-
LinkedIn.
And Sober Desi, if you're interested in following us, we're a very inclusive community promoting sobriety and sober curiosity. It doesn't always mean sobriety. It could mean moderation and intention. So come out.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Maya Allen. Don't look at me on TikTok because there's not going to be anything there.
She's going to have a TikTok by tonight. So if you want to follow
I have
her.
it. I just don't use it.
We're going to post like 17 videos today, so it'll be good.
Thank you guys so much. We are going to be back here. If you have a question that you didn't want to ask in front of everybody, we'll be happy to chat with you. And thank you so much, ladies, and thank you to South by Southwest for having us. Thank you.